Good morning, everybody. It is October 6, 2022, 8:25 a.m. Crazy markets here. Switch it up a little bit. I'm going to just show my watch list to start off here to see where we're at with certain stocks and futures. And we'll just go to who we got here. So the VIX is up to 29. Ethereum's up. Silver's up percent. Bitcoin 0.4. The dollar's up. Gold's up. 10 years up. Bonds are being bought. 10-year and the 30-year. Crude slightly down. The Dow. The Nasdaq is down 0.29%. ES down 0.32%. And the Russell's down 0.4%. As far as stocks that I trade and that I watch, we can go from the strongest to the weakest in the pre-market. So this is how the this is the order of strongest to weakest in the pre-market. So Apple's the strongest, down 0.2%. Amazon, Baba, Meta, Snow. And as we go down, weakest is Tesla, down 0.88%. Coin down 0.64%. Nvidia down 0.64%. Those are the weak ones. As far as sectors, as far as stocks that are like the top in each sector that I like to follow. So this is interesting. Costco is the leader. That's Staples, followed by United Healthcare, and then UPS Healthcare with Johnson & Johnson. But then let's just go down to the, I'm not going to go down each one. Let's go down to the weakest. It's Twitter, down 1.95 in the pre-market. Exxon, followed by JP Morgan and Chevron. Okay, so it looks like financials, communications, for Twitter's communications, but that's just individual. And we'll just quickly go over the sectors, who's strongest to weakest. Strongest sector right now is Staples. That's a defensive sector. Followed by utilities. Oh, that just jumped. This is actually updates live pre-market, so it's jumping around. So communications, real estate. So real estate is defensive. Staples is defensive. Hence why we're down a little bit, right? Bottom of the chain is energy, materials, semiconductors. So things are moving around still. Just wanted to give it a little recap of what I look at every day. And I can see pre-market who's the strongest, who's the weakest. And let's go into the SPY, the daily chart. Yesterday was kind of crazy. We opened and then we kind of sold off. And the reason why we sold off was two-headed monster. OPEC said they were going to cut 2 million barrels a day, and as well as there were strong ISM PMI numbers that's not good for the market, which brought the market farther down. And then we kind of hit this level right here, bounced off. Okay, and then we kind of sold off into the close. So what really is what's going on here is we're at the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level. We also have the 20-day moving average. It's right here. Okay, it hasn't touched it yet, but it's right here on this 380 level. And we've had the 9 daily EMA kind of acting as support. We're kind of banging around in between these two moving averages. All right, that's what we have going on in the SPY. Now, as far as the Qs, All right, in the Qs, what we did, obviously, same thing. We sold off. I'll talk about that week low that I talked about yesterday. That was very important. That was what brought the market down. And what we did yesterday was the high filled this gap from 921. So you can see it kind of came right up to the bottom of this candle, filled the gap because it didn't fill it fully on this day, filled the gap and sold off. Okay, also came right up to the 38.2 fib retracement level. Okay, and this also is bouncing between, hasn't touched it yet, the 20 MA and the 9 daily EMA. Okay, so it's in between these two moving averages. Okay, but that key level that I spoke about yesterday is what broke the market down. Okay, I had a couple shorts myself. I was successful because of that. So let's look at some levels here in the SPY. Okay, so we got resistance here, 379.4. Right here you can see this is acting as resistance right now. Okay, the most traded price of the week is right here in the SPY. Okay, that is 376. That's where we are right now. 376 is the most traded price of the week in the SPY. Okay. For our support, 370 is our support. Okay. Most traded price of the month in the SPY is 364. Now, remember how I say things move, right? You could even see it on this chart. I don't show it a lot on this chart, but you can see it, right? Check this out. This was the most traded price of the week, that week, right? Well, what happened? It came up, make a move, made a move to here, right? This is the most traded price of the week. Now, where could we go next? This is the most traded price of this week, right? This is this node. We can either go here or we're going to go back to here. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Of course, I expound more on that in the market profile and the futures, but I just wanted to show you in the SPY. Okay. Now, what do we have in the Qs? So in the Qs, we have a resistance level 284.24. You can see that clear resistance here. Okay. Most traded price of the week right here. That is 281. 281. Most traded price of the month, 274. Okay. Support here, 273. Call 274. This is the most traded price of the month. If we go down, we probably go here. Okay. Same thing up here. This is the most traded price of this week. So if we move higher, we could probably land ourselves at around 289. All right. Let's look at our TNX. So TNX. Now remember, I broke this trend, then found support at this 20-day moving average, and now we're starting to go higher. Okay, remember this is a leading indicator. So right now the TNX is like pretty much even from yesterday where it closed. Okay, but if we start to do this, remember bonds are smart money, probably the equities will follow down. Okay, if we start to do this, break this trend line, we're going higher. And this is more of a macro level, not an intraday trade. Okay. So let's look at that dollar. dollars up a little bit, 0.29%. So it's up slight. And finally, that VIX. The VIX is up 1% from yesterday's close, but still in this little range here. Okay, still in this little range the last couple days. Okay, kind of finding support right here. I actually should draw a support line right here at 28. So we break 28, we could probably see prices go higher, because obviously the VIX is the inverse. Okay. Okay, let's do some market profile. We'll get right into it. All right, so yesterday was a little nuts. All right, we partially filled this old gap. So this turquoise boxes are my gaps. That's a gap. The gap was here. So we've partially filled it, didn't fill it all the way. And then obviously we came roaring back, broke these highs, and found resistance up in supply here. Okay. So we have now a weak high in the ES. We have equal highs. This is like I said about yesterday. The weak lows in the NASDAQ is a very important level, right? So these are very equal, okay? And when they're that equal, I just want to explain one other thing. I don't think I've explained this before. When nuanced levels like RTH high and the overnight high are equal, right? That's like precision. You know what that means? That means it's retail. That means it's weak hands. That means it's like me or you at trading at those levels. Big institutions and banks don't trade at levels like that. They don't look at those things. So these are weak players, okay? So if we come up here and knock on this again, I'm not saying we definitely break it, but there's sellers here, okay? Shorts are pushing this market down here. Come up again and we pop through it, we're going to get some nice movement. We got some single prints here too. Okay. Okay. So like I always talk about, we got our volume, composite volume profile here on the side. We got the most traded price of the week's holding value up here, and then the profile just kind of goes down, right? So we got a little excess yesterday here. Okay, now, I mean, can we continue to build value here? That's only that's short-term bullish, right? We stay up here, we short-term bullish. Remember, we don't want to go below this 36.70 most traded price of the month. Okay, you don't want to go below that. So we stay up here, it's short-term bullish. Okay. We have our weak highs, and we have our session from the overnight is here inside yesterday's session. Okay, inside, and it's very balanced. Okay, we're right in the middle of the session, right at the most traded price of the week. Look at that. Most traded price of the week is 37.95. Okay, this is literally telling us nothing, because we're right at the most traded price. No coincidence. And what do we have tomorrow? Non-farm payrolls, right? So can the market do something today? Can. But maybe we're going to wait. Maybe we'll balance today and we wait for tomorrow. But anything can happen in this market because it's so volatile. Okay. All right. Let's go to the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ, yes, it is to point it out. When when I was speaking in pre-market, these lows were equal. Okay. Then the OPEC news came out. We broke it. Okay. Then we opened right here. Then we played around. And then boom. We came down. Now notice where we came down, right? This is the most traded price of the month. 114. 11,400. Look at that. Came down to the most traded price of the month. Couldn't break this level. This is the bull bear line. And we found buyers. And we ripped higher. That's why these levels are important, okay? So in the Nasdaq we made a new, like, we overnight high went over the RTH high, but still overnight session is within the RTH session. Okay, balance. Where are we at? Most traded price of the week. That is, what is that? 116.50. 116.50. So again, right in the middle of the range. Doesn't tell us a lot. Pointing to balance today. That's pointing to balance. It's not pointing to a crazy move. Currently, ES is up 0.02%. Nasdaq's up 0.23%. Okay. Now that the TNX has, the yields have gone down all of a sudden. So that's kind of crazy. They're very illiquid. So TNX was fine before, now it's down 0.43%. So bonds are being bought now. Interesting. Okay, just wanted to give you that update. Okay. So that's another thing too. The Nasdaq came into supply zone as well. The supply zone was from way back. Came into it, found sellers, and you know where we closed? Closed right here. Okay. So not a lot to glean from what's going on right now. Okay. Don't have that weak high like the ES has equal highs, but still I would consider this, we break this, could go higher. However, like I said, non-farm payrolls is tomorrow, unemployment numbers are tomorrow. Could be waiting on that. Could be. Okay. All right, let's get into the 60-minute futures chart. Look at the ES. Let's get it zoomed in for you. All right. All right, so what do we have here? So we have our supply zone here that got some selling. Okay, that's right here. We have a resistance level here, 38.21.75 in the ES. Okay, another supply zone that was formed. That's starting to get resistance right now. Okay. And if you notice, there's this large node here, which is the most traded price of the week. Just so, because I can see that on this chart too. Just, I never point that out, but I always can see where volume is, right? And that's for the last year. So I know the prices traded there before, previously. I can show you that very quickly. That you can see we've been here before, we're been here again. This is a large node now, so all right. So very simple today. with some levels. All right, 37.64 support, kind of a swing high, swing low, sorry, right here. Okay, come back down here, we take that out, we could see these lows. Okay, another thing, looking at a pattern. We want to see a pattern, right? We got a shoulder here, we got a head here. Can we come up into here and build another shoulder, right? Then come down here to the neckline, break this level, go back down to this 37.35. Possible. Just showing you what's possible. So key resistance 38.21, key support 37.64, okay, and 37.35, which was the support yesterday. Still have a gap here that needs to be filled. Today, like I said, there's news on the horizon tomorrow. We could be balancing today, but it's a crazy market. All right, let's go to the NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ. You can see this key support, resistance level right here. 11713. We have a supply zone here. It's been resistant a bunch of times. Okay, another supply zone right here. It's being resistant again. Sellers slam this candle right down. Okay, but we have a similar setup as the ES. Okay, so we got this swing low here, 115.23. This swing low support, right? We have, this is the old gap that has not been filled yet. All right, we have this swing low, and I'll give you that number in a sec. Let's see here. I have a gap there, so I don't have a level there, but it's okay. That's the top of the gap still. So we're looking at like 113.66. Okay, so those are the levels. Resistance 117.13. We also have supply zone here with single prints. Okay, same kind of thing. We have a shoulder, we have a head. Can this be another shoulder? Right? Necklines here, 115.23. Do we go down? Remember, this is the most traded price of the month. This turquoise box. Can we penetrate this and go below it? It's going to be tough. Also have a trend line coming in here. Bunch of confluence there. Okay, so like I said, this is all that could happen, but like I said, balance could be on the plate today because of tomorrow's numbers. All right, let's move over to the zoomed in profile chart. Okay, so here's those weak highs. That's very important for today. Okay, we get volume and we push, we're going higher. Okay, so I'm gonna go for that scenario first. So we're inside, like I said, this level's very important here. 37.95, most traded price of the week, right? That's why we're around this level again. Just a bunch of volume that goes here. It's like a magnet. Say it to him, blue in the face, right? Most traded price of the week. Okay, so obviously we need to get through this. So I think if we get through this level and we knock on this door, one or two things going to happen, right? We're going to either create balance, which we're going to find resistance here again. We can't pop it, and we're going to go down, and then we're going to contend with this level, and maybe we start to go down to the overnight lows and go down to the yesterday's lows. Okay, or like I said, if we hit volume and the Nasdaq is also moving higher, we're going higher. breaking these single prints, and we could go to 38.45. Okay. Now we're gonna look at the bear case. Okay. What could happen is right here we could push down, find support here, find resistance at the 5-day, the most traded price of the week, try to come into the supply zone, take out the overnight lows right here. Well, actually, go down to the overnight lows, take them out, and then we're headed down to the lows of yesterday. One or two things: we bounce up, or we start filling the gap. Okay. And lastly, this is just how it's going to work today. We could be balance day. So that's just basically go to the highs, come back. Okay, go to the lows, come back. Balance. Waiting for tomorrow. Waiting for tomorrow. All right. Now let's look at that NASDAQ. It's gonna be very similar. Like I said, we can go bull case first. And again, I'm all waiting on this, just like you guys. I don't know. I have no clue. Because today, in what I read the market every day, I see balance today. But anything could happen, right? I see balance just because of tomorrow. Okay. However, we talked about this, okay? I think if we open up, we can come down. Now remember, this is the most traded price of the week, 116.40, okay? We're going to need to contend with that. It also has a supply zone around it. So come up to it, maybe find a little bit of resistance, but we come up to these highs, like again, one or two things going to happen. Either we pop up, find resistance, sellers re-engage, come back down here, and then we start going towards the overnight lows, and then we start going back to this most traded price of the month at 11,400, which is also, we work them down to the lows again. Okay, maybe actually fill that gap, or we get volume and the market gets strong and we pop up here to 117.80. We also have single prints. Remember, single prints are emotional selling or buying that are not going to have much resistance. Okay, I also have them in the ES here from the past. Now, same thing I'm going to say. Okay, as far as the NASDAQ, we can come up to this most traded price in supply zone, try to find sellers. Boom, we're hitting the overnight lows here. Take those out, and then we're headed back to the lows of yesterday. Okay. And then do we fill the gap and go lower? I don't know. Or we come back, right? And finally, I'll leave you with what I feel most likely today, but doesn't mean it has to happen, is we come up, we find sellers, we come in to balance. We go down, we find buyers, we come up to balance and wait for tomorrow. Most likely doesn't mean it has to happen, right? So that's it for today. Please give me a like, comment, subscribe, maybe a suggestion if you guys think that you want to see something different or more of something that I haven't shown yet. Like I said, I'm working on maybe showing some trades that I do based on these levels, because all these levels are based on how I want to trade. So, and then please share with any trader friends you have. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And I wish everybody a green day. I hope everybody makes money today. And hold on, let's just see where the state of the market. Why don't we just look real quick at the market? What do we got here? Because it's changed. Okay, ES down 0.23%, crude down 0.15%. TNX is rising back. This is nuts. Pretty nuts. It's just constantly moving around. Dollars up. It's just crazy. So get ready for a ride today. All right. I'll see everybody tomorrow. I wish everybody good luck and have a good day.